This is Karen Ranzi, and I am here at Blooming Hill Farm in New York with my very favorite local organic farmer.
She says that to all the boys.
And I'm always recommending this beautiful farm and this farmer for his wonderful local organic produce. And I'm going to ask him some questions about farming. So, Guy,
yes,
I wanted to ask you about your farming. How long have you been farming?
A little over 30 years.
Wow. And what got you motivated into doing farming?
Well, I was a lifelong gardener, and as you know, I had a storefront law office for a number of years, and we did a lot of the radical, progressive kind of law during the 70s. And amongst the people I worked with was a guy named Cesar Chavez, who was organizing farm workers in California. And through that, I got involved in, part of their thing was, working in the fields. So I worked with a lot of industrial agriculture. And when I realized I had to get out of the law thing, then I was looking for something else to do. And I liked being outside, and I liked growing things, and I thought I'd give this a shot.
Yeah, well, we need you. We definitely need you. So, as far as your farming practices, when you plant, like, you have the most luscious greens I've ever seen. They're just so beautiful, and they last for a long time.
Right.
So how do you mineralize your soil? How do you grow plants like that?
As you know, Karen, part of the whole sustainable organic kind of agriculture is you have to be diverse. So what we're trying to, in many ways we try to mimic nature in what we're doing. So we're growing a wide variety of products, over a broad landscape and over a long calendar year. We're growing 12 months a year. We're growing about 250 different varieties of produce, pretty much anything that can be grown in this climate. And we have enough land available to us so that we can rotate our crops, regularly, and we can plow product back down into the ground, green manures and stuff.
And I think that is so important right there, is
Very
being
much.
able to rotate your crops so that you're not planting on the same soil all the time.
That's you're right. That's critical.
Key.
And the other thing we do is we kind of let nature take its course. Like when we plant a row crop, we'll keep it clean for a little bit of time until it can kind of hold its own, and then we kind of let the weeds come in. And I feel that weeds are one of the best green manures you can use, because they're pulling stuff out of the soil and out of the air that it's very natural. I mean, they're there for a reason. And then when we plow that under, it reinvigorates the soil.
Wow, so you're using the weeds.
Yeah,
That's something I never even took into account.
Yeah. I mean, weeds are growing in place for a reason, and certain weeds, as you know.
And that's going to be really healthy soil too.
Right. They're going to enrich the soil in a way that, say, a traditional kind of cover crop would.
Right. Do you use any rock minerals, rock salts?
We don't.
Kind?
I mean, I would like to, but there's none really readily available to us at this location. I mean, occasionally we do use. There's some limestone that we get from New Jersey, not too far away in Sussex, New Jersey. But that other kind of processed sort of rock minerals and whatnot they're being hauled from a long ways away.
Okay.
So the expense is high, and plus I'm not sure the whole ethics are behind it. So in a lot of ways, those minerals are made available to the soil by the wild stuff that grows there, the weeds.
The wild forms.
Yeah,
yes.
That whole compost tea thing. Well, when I was just a gardener, I used to use that, and I found that I really got good results from that. So
Using a lot of compost.
Well, a lot of that compost tea. Compost tea, you just take everything that's all around, kind of let it rot down, and then you water your plants with it.
And that's natural organic.
Yeah, that's a natural sort of thing, right? And a lot of different minerals are leaching out of those plants. So I feel that by plowing down some of the natural occurring plants, that you're getting that same kind of mineral
getting all
release.
those minerals. Okay. And what about any kind of natural form of insect control? How do you keep
Yeah,
insects?
nothing. We
You
just
don't
use
anything?
diversity. Diversity and timing. Like, as you know from coming to our stand, like we'll have arugula at the beginning of the year, but then there's a long span of time in the summer where we oftentimes don't have it because there's one or two particular bugs that like to feed on those, but then they only have a window when they're around, and then they leave. So if you can time things and grow things when they want to grow, I think you have a better chance of competing with the insects.
Yeah.
So we haven't used anything.
It's a real understanding of nature.
Well, yeah, just being out there, right? And a lot of it is nature driven and being interested in observing nature. And a lot of it, to continue to farm, it's economics.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no sense of putting a lot of time and energy into something, time, energy, and money into something that doesn't want to grow. So we're trying to, learn from being out there.
Time you have to be really very into the timing of the whole
the
plant
seasonality,
cycle.
right, yep.
Yeah, great. So are there any challenges? I know you've touched on some of it, but are there other challenges that you're facing, such as in the winter? Any challenges?
Well,
soil.
I mean,
The winter is tough
our biggest challenge is
especially here on the East Coast.
Right. We have a short window. I mean, I do a little garden club at the school across the street, and I said to him the other day, we can only really grow all the crops we want to grow in like an 120-day window. There's only 123, and that's the maximum. 123 frost-free days in this zone that we're in right here. So it's 120 days. It's not really that long. So you got to jam a lot into a short period of time. Like I always ask the kids to think about, can you imagine when there wasn't a ShopRite or a Stop and Shop or a Wegmans to go shopping at? Like, what would you do? How
and
would
that's how you live your life.
Right. And so that's what we're thinking about still.
That's
like,
right.
what are we going to do in this short period of time to grow what we want to grow? And so that window, we try to push it out a little bit. We use these high tunnels, these unheated greenhouses, and it does have some success for us. But we're trying to be as natural as we can with that too. So we're growing things that are more willing to grow in that environment. We're not trying to go cucumbers or tomatoes in December. We're
Exactly.
growing
You're
things
very
that want to grow.
seasonal, and you really look at it that way.
Right.
You have to.